everyone. So, hello everyone. We are just waiting for Ishani to join in. Perfect. So, Ishani, I can see you. Uh, okay.
Can you see me?
Hello. Yes.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All good.
All good? Wonderful. So
Yes, you can hear me?
yes, I can hear you perfectly well. I hope you can hear me and you can see me.
Yes, I
Yeah?
can.
Okay, perfect. So I think we're left with couple of minutes. So yeah, we're left with 2 minutes. So meanwhile, we can let people join in. So how was your day?
My day was great and it was tiring and it was a mixed bag of all of it. How about you? How was it for you?
My God, my day was super tiring, and I'm really looking forward for your session because today we are going to do a lot of activities. So I'm hoping that this can actually calm me down and it can really relieve me from a lot of stress that I'm actually undergoing today. Honestly speaking.
Yes.
So
So I
I
hope
think sorry.
I hope that it does help you and relieve and like let go of whatever you might have accumulated in the day for yourself. So yes, hoping the same.
Oh yes. I'm really looking forward. Although, I would really want to tell you that I'm quite nervous because I'm somebody who's really bad when it comes to art. Really bad.
Oh.
And you had asked us to get all of these things, and I'm actually prepared. So I'm going to tell you exactly what all things do I have with me right now. But I think let's begin. We have people joining in, and they'll be keep joining us. So, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Would you want
when
to pin in the title for whoever joins in, they'll be able to know what's happening. So I think if
yeah,
you,
of course. Uh-huh. Okay.
I think
So I mean, like, I am really bad with this. Maybe if you can do that for me, will
I'll
that
just
be
try.
possible? Yeah.
I'll just try.
So yeah. So meanwhile, I'll probably let everyone know who we have today with us. So hello everyone. It's the episode 5 of Mind Talkies, and today we have with us Miss Ishani. So maybe we can see her face, and then we can
Yeah.
start.
I'll just try to first pin it. Guys, anybody knows how to do this pinning
I
job?
think it's already pinned. I can really see. It says
Yeah,
healing
but
through expressive arts and experiential journey. So yeah, I can see that.
But I believe if somebody else joins in and they comment, so this is going to vanish. So let's see.
Okay, all right. So, so yeah, we have Ishani with us. She's an art-based therapist, and she's a wonderful person. She has healed so many people, and I have been following her, and we are so lucky to have her with us. So yeah, it's done. Somebody has commented, so I think it's done.
It's not
So I
pinned.
think
It's not pinned.
it's not pinned.
What do I have to do? Do I have to long press it?
Yeah, I think that's what they're saying. So should I try it
No.
from my end?
Yeah, just try.
Oh
Or
yeah,
if there's anyone
done,
who knows.
done.
Yeah, it got pinned. How did you do that?
Yeah, I just long pressed it. So I was just suggested to long press it by someone. I think somebody had suggested that, so I would really want to thank that person.
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
It
so
is.
thank you so
Great.
much,
Thank you so
Ashma.
much.
So yeah, so I think let's officially begin. So we have with us Mrs. Shani. She's an art-based therapist. She has helped and healed a lot of people. She's an amazing person, and we're really lucky to have her with us on board. And we all are really excited to to see what exactly this entire session unfolds. So I think let's quickly begin, right? So
Absolutely. And thank you for such a warm welcome and such a nice introduction. So thanks a lot for the same.
okay, so I think you had asked us to get things with us. Do you want to
Yes.
directly jump on to the activity, or should we chat for some time, let people know exactly what art therapy is? Because I personally want to know what art therapy is
So,
all about.
however,
Yeah, so
I
I think
think we can
let's.
start with a brief introduction about what arts is and what kind of arts-based therapy is. And I think probably then we could follow it up with an activity.
Perfect. So I think I'll probably run you over a couple of questions. So the very first question that I have in my mind is what exactly an art therapy is, and who all can really benefit from art therapy.
So, whenever we talk about art therapy, so there are two constructs around it. One is art therapy, and one is arts-based therapy or expressive arts therapy.
Okay.
So, whenever we talk about expressive arts, it's like an entire pool of
Right.
different art forms, ranging from visual arts, which would be more like painting, coloring, sculpting, clay, anything which is we engage with visually and is available to us. Then it
Okay.
could be visual arts, it could be music, it could be movement, it could be drama, it could be theater, it could be storytelling, it could be narrative writing, it could be picking up your threads and collage making. So it can entail anything and everything which kind of infuses that creative energy within you. And even lockdown has been, I think, the most fertile space to kind of open our kitchens and our hearts to cooking, whereas otherwise we would just refuse to even enter in. So the act of cooking in itself, if I look at it, the creative juices that it kind of opens up, and also the sense of rejoice and happiness and excitement, basically instilling a positive state of mind. So anything that is able to do either of the two could largely fall under the umbrella of arts. So that, as I talked about, expressive art entails all of this. Whereas if you talk about art therapy per se, so that would mostly be one form of art, maybe like a visual art, or say a music therapy, or say drama therapy or movement therapy. So art, it's more like one form of art therapy. But when we talk about expressive art,
Expressive
so it's
arts. Okay.
entire, it's almost like how you have a paint box and it has so many more colors in it. So expressive arts is like those colors all together. But say if I just pick up the yellow color and say I'm going to paint my entire page yellow, so that could be one form of art. It could be music, dance, drama, theater, anything. So just one. So yeah, I think that's about you know
So
a basic.
I am pretty. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that art therapy definitely benefit kids, and it is something that they can really associate and connect themselves with. But then when it comes to adults, do you think that it really works wonder with them as well? Or do you think that you often face hesitations or any sort of a compulsions when it comes to adults? Do you think they enjoy it?
So, as much as the kids enjoy, the adults equally enjoy the process and the creation of art, because the underlying
Mhm.
truth is that there are that is that childlike state within all of us. However, when you talk about resistance and say, a sense of
Yes.
not being really comfortable with art in the very first form, is because we as adults, we made our worlds so concrete and we build those boundaries so strong around us that anything that looks a little more fluid and anything that looks a little more creative, or which has more childlike spontaneous attributes, we just tend to kind of take a step back and feel, no, maybe this is not for me, it's too kiddish. It's the most
Right.
common narrative I think I've heard. It's so silly, it's so stupid, and it's so kiddish. But whenever we are able to break past that resistance, and how we break past that resistance is that we always again offer like an entire pool of varieties of art forms. So any client, or say any adult who comes in, I will not tell them that, okay, let's do dance today, or let's say do music today. So that's also the beauty of having like an entire catalog with you in expressive arts. So whoever's coming in whatever shape and form, maybe I'm a person who just likes to listen to music. We can begin session by wherever the client is. So they don't essentially paint, color, draw, sing, whatever, just wherever they are, whatever page they are in. We start the journey from there, and slowly, as in how they are comfortable in the modality that they feel comfortable with, we give them the choice to pick up. So that reduces the resistance that a client may come up with, or feel really, really say skeptical. Oh my God, what is it that the therapist is going to ask me to do today? So in fact, arts
Right.
is just art therapy or expressive arts therapy is just the opposite. The therapist will never tell you what to do. In fact, the therapist will always give that position to you to choose your discretion. And we also come in from a very, very humanistic school of thought, which is that
Yes.
the client or the person in front of us is the one who knows his journey the best. So he's the wiser one. And as much as he knows how his problems look like for him, so our job is for just to give him that, be that container wherein he can just find all of those things that might be troubling him and find his or her own solutions. We just provide a platform basically. We just
Right.
provide a space wherein the person can just pick up the mode, the modality, the medium, the pace on how they would like to go about in the session. And we just keep swimming along with them. That's it. Just helping them reach out, find that path. So we just open that gateway for them and allow them to make their own journey for the same.
So, if I'm getting it correct, you're saying that art therapy and expressive arts therapy is more non-directive, and it is definitely not compulsory for clients or whosoever is coming to us for help to really follow the instructions, right? So it is more unstructured. You really pick it up from wherever the client is really enjoying, right? So even if somebody is coming with a particular headset, you are going to mold the entire form of the therapy according to the mindset of the client. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
So we do have our set of goals, not to say that it's absolutely unstructured. In art therapy, there are different parts of it. So one form is which is extremely unstructured. That is, we just would, say give you the entire canvas of art forms in front of you. You pick yours. So we always start from there, and then based on the goal, and where we also visualize the client moving through the journey, we keep offering that to the client, and they keep picking it up. They keep picking their journey. Now, it could be one unstructured, then semi structured. Maybe based on our discussion, our goal setting, and also our case history, I might in this offer like some modality or like an opening for the to the client, an outlet for the client, like a stimulus to the client, and then allow the client to say reflect on it, think about it, what it feels to them, what comes to their mind, and how do they then meander further. So then that becomes a bit semi structured, wherein we've given it a little structure, we've given it a little stimulus, but then post that, it's just how the client makes sense of it. Then the third one is structured. So usually with kids, this is where this part of the therapy is usually used, because kids at that age, they are still more spread out. And in terms of goal setting, when we do with them, so based on their goals, so say I have this child who has attentional difficulties, and I'm using arts based therapy with him. I will be picking up qualities of art. Say we are picking up based on his or her choice. Maybe he wants to pick up art today, so we pick up our crayons, we pick up our sheet of paper. But now I will ask him first. So say, let's play start and stop today. So how do you want to go? Again, now I don't first say, acha, aise hoga. I never do that in the very first place. We always allow, be it a child, be it an adult or an adolescent, to decide for themselves. So, we do the rule setting and we kind of come up with a base, with an understanding that this is how we are going to play start and stop today. Now, here I am giving it a structure because I know that with this child, I have a certain goal, but in that structure also, I give options. I give choices. Maybe he wants to play start and stop with, say, Legos and ingrain like little bit of art form around it. Maybe he wants to do it with crayons. Maybe he wants to do it with his paintbrush. Maybe he wants to really move around and play start and stop. So that way, in structured also, we still have element of choices which I leave the child with, but we go on goals. So that way, then I ask him how do we play start and stop. So he says कि अच्छा आज मुझे ना घूम घूम के खेलना और let's do running and then do start and stop. So I said, okay, great, we go ahead with that. And then I give him a chance to first do it himself. Because usually for children, they always come with a frame that adults only tell us kya karna hai, or they just guide us. They are the ones who keep taking the toll over. So we just do the opposite. We allow them to take the first chance to do it their way. And once they've done that, fulfilled their heart, then we start streamlining it a little bit more, knowing that this child might need such kind of structure. So then it becomes a little more structured, and it's usually used more with kids. With adults or say adolescents, we largely work with unstructured and semi-structured modalities. Yeah, because the idea is they're still more evolved cognitively to be able to, find out their own. With children, they need a little bit of more effort and, just holding their hand and helping them past.
So, some of the questions that I felt that people would really want to know, because, most of the people who are attending our sessions are generally the people who are, layman, who would not really understand the concepts of goal setting, the concept of really having a positive reinforcement to be given at regular intervals to the child to, elicit a particular response. So,
Yeah.
when you say expressive arts, what I understand now is that it is the usage of different therapies together, which could be in the form of art, it could be in the form of music, and then leading gradually to the path of self discovery. Is it?
Yes. So, not using different therapies, but basically using different modalities of
Modalities. Oh, yes.
art. Yes.
Okay.
And slowly helping the child or the individual or the adult find their own path towards their goal. That you kind of look at or the client in terms of the goal setting.
Okay. So,
So,
the expected. Yeah, go on, go on.
yeah. So
So,
I was just saying the interesting bit is that people sometimes really end up confusing and enmeshing arts or expressive arts as no more than an art class. So how it differs also, or like a hobby class. A lot of parents, especially when they enroll their children for these sessions, they feel art hi to kar raha hai, drawing hi to
that
kar
was
raha
the, that was the next question that I was going to come up with, that do a person really need, because this is actually the sort of questions that parents actually end up asking whenever they're going to a music therapist. They're expecting that there will be some classes that will happen that can teach the child music,
hai.
vice versa with all the other modalities. So how do you really talk to parents when it comes to all of those things, even adults who come to you? Do they really need to be professionally trained, or do they need to have some skill set with them to be able to join the class? Is it one of the things that they really need to take care of?
So I think they don't need, they don't need to be artists. They don't need to have a degree, or they don't need to have an expertise in any of the art forms, firstly, because that is how it's different from a class, or that is how it's different from any other activity class, or like, a skill class. Because here, skill building is a byproduct of it. But basically, what we're using art forms is to be able to work through the afflictions of the person. So basically, we are using it as a process than a product. So the idea is not to focus on, अच्छा हमने आर्ट क्लास, हमने विजुअल आर्ट करी या म्यूजिक करा, तो मेरे बच्चे ने क्या सीखा या क्या नया म्यूजिक सीखा, और what is it that they learned. The idea is how through using music they were able to work through the challenges, maybe in terms of voice regulation. So a lot of children struggle, or say there are adults who really struggle to be able to even voice out their opinions and expression. So how we may use music as that form of modality and as that process to be able to build that sense of resilience and strength and regulation, those who are not able to control, and in those who struggle to voice out their opinions. So how we are using this as a process rather than a product. निकल के क्या आ रहा है? We are using it more as a journey where the individual is working through their problems, their afflictions, that's kind of holding them back in life. So, say how through a visual art session, we help a person to be able to come to terms with, the kind of stressors that may be having, the kind of repressed emotions that may be carpeted deep within. So, how through a visual art session, or how through painting, we allow them to build that space to work it out, and then through reflection, look deep within, dig deep within, that what is it that could resemble or make semblance of it.
Okay. So, that actually brings me to the second question that I had in my mind, especially when people have this confusion, because most of the time we come across people who do not really even themselves know about their problems, right? And when you had
Yeah,
precisely talked about goal setting, it is very important for people to have that insight, to be really aware of what problems and what challenges are they really facing.
absolutely.
So how do you
Absolutely.
set goals? I mean, of course, when it comes to kids, they always have these parents coming up, and they would really come and openly express about the issues that their kids are facing. But when it comes to adults, how does the goal setting works? So
So I
how do
think
you go about that?
whenever we begin with goal setting, we always begin with like case history. Basically, case history is nothing but whenever a person or a client comes to us, we kind of accumulate his or her experience through conversation. So with children, we collect data, or we collect a so to say history from say parents, from a sibling come along,
Right,
from the
right.
child himself. So we may take the child in our art therapy room and just ask the child to, wet for her hands in different art forms, or just pick up for them. And while they do so, a lot of conversations pop up, because they say when they're coloring, they're painting, or they're music, or they're dancing, kids are just so innocent. And why it also facilitates, because rather than going into say an overwhelming space where kids think that they might be going to a space जहाँ teacher उनसे पूछेगी, we're not teachers, we're
Right.
like friends, or we're co-partners with them, and together we build that space. So when we build that space, we use different art forms, whether it's coloring, dancing, moving. So it just ends up taking down their wall, which they come up with to this, that, oh, I don't know what they're asking, are they going to scold me? Because half of the times parents have not even given the correct information to them. They will just give them any bizarre information that this is why you're going. But when they come in and when we play, when we engage with these artistic forms, it just lets all of those apprehensions and all those queries or questions or fears out of their mind, because they've dissolved themselves into the art form or just the act of creating. So that act of creating really brings down their barriers, and then they reveal so much more information, almost so many times, that the parent also doesn't know. And say maybe we have the interview from the teachers, or some case reports from the teachers, the schools. So then we triangulate all of that to come to an understanding that this is what is happening. We never do it based on any one information, be it the parent, the teacher, the sister, child itself. We always put all the data together and then have meeting and discuss all of this. And with then the adults, we streamline the goals. And also, it's very important to convey to the child as well. So in the language that the child understands, because a lot of I don't know, it works differently at different places, but I ensure that the kids are aware why they are coming to this space and what could be the reasons. So maybe we could ask, कभी स्कूल में होता है ऐसे पढ़ते पढ़ते ना एकदम हम फेरी लैंड में चले जाते हैं एंड बहुत मुश्किल होती है फिर मैम क्या बोलती है भूल जाते हैं ना हाँ ऐसे तो होता है they would say. So then we bring to the purview say अच्छा attention में वो class में कभी focus in the language that they understand. So we convey, we also check with them that if this is how it falls for them. And that's how we do a goal setting, and every session is in tandem with it. With the adults or say the young adults, again it just starts from the very first chapter of where they are and what brings them to the session. What is it that they have probably been struggling with? A lot of times arts is also used as a form of assessment, because many times say I am very overwhelmed, or say I don't know what to say. I might be a person who's struggling to explain using words, so we might just encourage the pain what they're feeling, to just see pick up any song that would help engulf or bring about what they're feeling. So that is say the vantage point or the starting point, and then based on that, however, we're able to open up the individual and then they start sharing, and together, mutually, always, we co create that space and co create the goals together.
Okay. So actually, that brings me to the next question. I was just
Yeah.
wondering that I am completely 110% convinced that art therapy or expressive arts therapy precisely brings about positive emotions, right? But negative emotions are also something that we all go through on day-to-day basis. And
Yes.
sometimes, like for example, for me right now, probably I am more in distress level, right? And I am mostly going through negative emotions where I'm all stressed and I'm all stuffed with negative emotions, right? Because of the long day, right? So, how do you really go about dealing when it comes to negative emotions? Do you attend to negative emotions as well? And if yes, then how? Because I think negative emotions are, um, let's say, if somebody has undergone a sexual abuse or somebody had undergone any sort of a traumatic event in their past life, right? And that can actually elicit a lot of negative response, which can in fact affect their well-being in the long run, right? So how do you go about attending that? Because sometimes I feel that those sort of clients would benefit more from expressive arts therapy because there's a lot of struggle that is going on inside them, and sometimes they would not really be very much okay with opening up when it comes to a conventional mode of therapy.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
does expressive arts really work with people like that, especially the ones who are undergoing any sort of a traumatic event or any sort of a past life event which they have not really made peace with?
Yeah. So I think that is the main beauty of an expressive arts form, because it's not overwhelming. It's not in your face, right in your face. It's not like somebody's just standing on your shoulders and asking you to talk about it. So I think that is, to begin with, the very beautiful facet about art is that it just gives you that space. It just gives you an outlet wherein you decide what you want to do. You decide what colors you want to put. You decide how you want to move. You decide the rhythm and the beats of your own songs. So whenever we work with arts, with expressive arts, we always work it at three levels. The first level is identification, wherein some client with whatever history, be it say of negative, difficult emotions or abuse, or however, wherever it's coming from, or just a daily life stressor for that matter, we always start with at least coming to terms with it, because most of the times we don't know what's happening. We don't know the feelings, the
Right.
emotions that are constantly, going on in like a whirlpool within. So to be able to reach to them, to be able to manage them, or to kind of calm them down, regulate them down, we always start with identification, the very first step. So, like I said, whenever the client comes in, based on how they feel today, or what is on their mind, we allow them to pick up, clarity that's intuitively reaching out to them, that's coming to them. So, based on whatever they pick up, we start asking them to just go all about, to just purge out whatever that they might be feeling or whatever that's coming to them at that moment. Now imagine somebody, or you just imagine yourself, you're coming from a stressful place, and I give you like this entire, jungle of art forms, or like, there are so many things that it uplifts your mood at the very first place, because nobody's sitting on your hand and saying, "Acha, chalo baat karo," or come, let's talk about
Right.
it. They're just telling you, go, just go bonkers. This is your space, this is your time, and just go about exploring just the way you want. So that in itself is so uplifting, and it just at the very onset shifts your mood from the negative mood that you're coming in, the negative space. After that, we do a little bit of grounding work, wherein just by helping the person through breath work and just settling in, we allow the person to become more present and oriented to where he or she is. So we'll do that while we do the session with you. So we will get a glimpse of what this grounding work can look like, which allows the person. So I may be coming from wherever. Say I've just had a very bad fight with my husband, and now I'm coming in for the session. So whenever I come in, of course, one based on the body language of the client and how they're coming in, we get an idea first.
Exactly. Yes.
So also then how the body language or the tone or the voice that we adopt completely is based on how where they are coming from. Second, just grounding. While I do this grounding work, I will allow the person to leave back all the baggage, or through mindfulness, just let it out for the minute, and try being more connected with the present. So once we're done with that, and once we've allowed them to choose the art form of their choice, then they begin that journey of exploring it. They begin putting their hands in it, just molding and twisting and turning and doing whatever on earth they want to do. And once they're done, we also give them enough sufficient time. We never say कि अच्छा 10 minute हो गए चलो चलो stop it, because just imagine the process that has been initiated is so difficult to first start. And once it starts, it takes time. ऐसे नहीं है, maybe I started coloring also. Maybe I might be absolutely harsh or jarring with the way I'm coloring, because that's what I'm feeling initially. But you will notice while you're coloring, or the way you're moving, or say even playing with some toys. We also have adult play therapy that happens. Say there are some dolls or anything that's around. Initial, either it's too rushed, or it's just very disengaged, but slowly you come to terms with it, and that is the critical point where the person has actually connected the most with it, and then it kind of slows them down or just makes them flow with the entire activity. And once they are thoroughly done, we always allow them that space and time. Once they're thoroughly done, then we may ask, if you're comfortable, let's talk about it, or would you like to talk about how it looks like to you? So from the first step of, just going on with the art activity, just absorbing themselves, then we slowly start moving to identification, which is, what does this look like for you? What does this feel like for you? So we go on to identify the pains, the wounds, or say whatever emotion that they might be. And once they start talking about it, we keep throwing in reflective questions at them, which help them only relook at the which help them only kind of break the situation down and say look at it from different perspectives. That moves them from identification to working through, which is like probably the problem solving phase, or just
Correct.
processing through their emotions or whatever they brought into the session today. After we are done that, then we start moving towards either closure, or say calming down, or say regulation. Wherein once we processed through whatever we brought in today, how do we want to bring to a closure? So a lot of times when we do body maps, which is a very very critical arts based tool, if anybody wants to, you can read about it. On my page, we have about body maps. Is basically especially used with those who are coming from, say, very, very overwhelming experiences of abuse, have very old traumatic memories right in their body. So once we've done that, and once they've identified and say process those emotions, it's very important to close it. So it could be as simple as say giving hearts to the body, the shape and form that they've come up with, or just as simple as hugging yourself, also picking up a teddy and doing that. something that would give them that sense of comfort and closure that has opened their wound and it has taken them to a difficult, overwhelming space. So we then ask the client that what is it at this moment that will give you a sense of relief, will give you a sense of liberation, or now that you've let go of all of this, what is going to make you feel comforted or give you a sense of closure? And based on that, we always come to a conclusion. Maybe it might be temporary. Maybe we've not processed and worked the entire piece during the session. Maybe do the rest of it next session. But anytime in whatever space and time we do, however we do, we always follow these three steps. One is identification, then processing through, and then a closure or say, a close, calming down or like communication with them. So that
So
is
the
what just
duration,
imagine.
right? So
Yeah, yeah.
the duration of the entire therapy, that's going to be the last question because I'm really looking forward to process the
The activity.
information A and then to experience it as well. Everything that you have said is completely convincing, and I would really want to undergo it. But so the duration of the sessions, like usually for us, it is usually 10 sessions or depending on the severity of a problem. How does it
Yes.
really work
Yes.
when it comes to expressive arts?
Similarly,
How
it
do you
works
decide the
similarly.
duration? Okay.
So we don't decide the duration per se. The client always indicates that. But usually based on the goal setting, so it's also important how we are moving past the goals. So it's not like that we started, say, an expressive arts therapy session and it has to go on forever. So it's very important that goals and keep tracking how and where we are moving, and the client will always direct you for that. But usually, again, I think it takes about a month at least, which might be about 10 to 12 sessions, to be able to reach to a situation where the client is more aware, is more acknowledging of his or her wounds or difficulties, and has started moving towards channelizing or finding out his or her own ways of dealing with it. And maybe uh, for some, 10 to 12 sessions are enough. For some, maybe it takes longer. So again, it will always be directed by the client. But not to say we don't forget our goals and we keep working together to move fast and keep tracking where and how we are going about it.
Okay, wonderful. So I do have a couple of questions left, but then I was just wondering, maybe let's begin with the
Yes,
session, and then maybe all of those questions will be answered when I am
yes,
undergoing the entire process. So,
yes, yes.
how do you want to go about it?
So I want you to first, just leave whatever you might be having in your hands or anything that might be holding you back in any manner. So um, release all of that and find yourself a comfortable place, whether it's sitting like this or whether you need to say lie down or just couch a bit. Just do whatever helps you to feel comfortable and not that you are in a stiff position. And don't worry about the live. I will be taking care of it.
Okay,
So
all right. So I'm
yeah,
completely in the most comfortable
yeah,
position.
yeah. Your hands free.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So once you've done that, I'd just like you to close your eyes. And for all of us who have tuned in with us, I hope you can join this journey with us. Just close your eyes and come where you're more relaxed. And I'd like you to begin taking in some deep breaths, gently and slowly, and breathing out. Once again, take a deep breath in and release it out. Once more, take a deep breath in and breathe out. Allow yourself, allow to just slowly settle in, release any tension, any thought, any image, anything that might be holding heavy. Try letting it go. Try releasing all your worries, all your stressors, and anything that might on your mind holding you back. Allow it to let go. And while you keep doing that, I keep breathing gently and as and how your body allows you in its natural rhythm. As you're more settled in, as you're more relaxed, notice how your body feels much more lighter, much more relaxed, and much more at peace. Visualize and light feather, light feather releasing every, any emotion, any thought in your body. As you do so, keep breathing. Great. So it looks to me that you're more. I want you now to in a big white plain room, absolutely white, and absolutely plain, empty room. Imagine this room like a blank white canvas. In front of you, absolutely white. As you keep visualizing that, I want to now see yourself standing in the center of a room, standing right in the center of an empty, blank, white room. And as you stand in the center of this room, visualize yourself as a ballet dancer. And this ballet dancer today has a big magical brush. So visualize yourself right into you as a ballet standing right in the middle with the big magical brush. I'm going to play some music now and would request you to use yourself with the and visualize moving through the entire room like a ballet dancer and you're painting every corner of the room, giving it the color how you might have been feeling it to be. So color in empty room as if dancing keep with this magical brush in your hand. Colors the entire room with colors all its shades, as in how might have been. And so enjoy the journey. Keep moving, keep coloring the empty walls with your colors, however you might be feeling. All right, when you're ready and when you've painted the entire, then you can open your eyes and connect back with us.
It was good.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, now I can.
I'll just reconnect. I think I can really hear your voice very low. I'll just reconnect. Just give me a minute.
Okay, okay. Okay. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Just say something.
Yes. Now you can hear
So
me
now
properly?
yes. So now what I want you to do is I want you to quickly take your sheet of paper and however that works for you, just color it out. Yeah.
Using any color that I like.
Yes, absolutely. Any colors,
So, what
any
exactly?
colors,
Uh-huh.
any colors that you visualized while you were moving, and any color would intuitively come to you. Just color them as in how you might be feeling now, and just let your page be filled any every color that you feel like picking, and all of you also who joined in,
And it has to
and
be
you
a
could
reckless coloring.
in any
I
way
mean,
you
I
want.
can in any way I want. Okay, all right.
Yes. And probably just as the way you visualized while moving as a back. So see this as that empty room and color it the way you like.
Okay.
So let your color move along with the music that it's taking you. And for all of you who are tuned in, if you don't have color, absolutely all right. If you have them, just on your paper, let your hand and color do the dancing and keep moving along with the music, whatever might be coming on the paper. If you don't have it, just pick up a pencil, a pen, and just keep moving along the music, however it takes you. So let your hand do the dancing.
Okay. So I think I've used couple of colors because I could really visualize myself using a lot of colors. And on the screen, what all colors did I use?
Yes, sure, we'd love to. Oh, wow.
So
Beautiful.
I've used pink, I've used purple, I've used blue, I've used green, I've used orange. I think that's pretty much it. I could really visualize myself using all of these colors. And when I was thinking myself as a ballet dancer, like just the way you asked me to, I could really imagine myself like moving in different directions with like paint. So yeah, that's the stroke that I thought would be something that I could really relate to.
So how was the experience like for you? Just being like the ballet dancer and coloring the entire room and then on your sheet of paper.
So I think I felt more free. Honestly speaking, when you started off, I had a lot of thoughts in my head, a lot of thoughts. And then, of course, there were so many other environmental noises that were distracting me in the beginning. But I think until the part where I reached where you asked me to imagine a whiteboard, and then gradually you shifted to asking me to imagine me as a ballet dancer, and then the music was, of course, a cherry on the top. So I think by that time I had reached where I felt positive. I felt joyous. Honestly, I just felt that, there's a sense of calmness. I mean, after a really long, hectic day, I could really feel that there's certainly quietness that I can feel around myself, and then, of course, calmness. So I think these things I could prominently feel.
Exactly. And you remember when we were discussing also, as I was sharing with you, it takes a little while, and it takes for everybody that time of connect is very very different. That maybe there were anyway so many things on your mind, and then this live, and maybe had we just done it like face to face, or it was just a
It
very
would have
different
certainly
setting.
been better. Yes, I personally feel that.
So
I do.
that is why it takes different time and spaces for each one of us. But the idea is that some point or the other, we end up just losing ourselves into the process. And that in itself is so calming and embalming that any stressors, anything that might have been bothering us or holding us back, holding us tight, just it's almost just washed away with the act of coloring and with the act of swaying with the music. Here I could have also maybe probably if you were face to face, maybe I would have just asked you to pick up a thingy and just sway along with the music literally like a ballet dancer. So that could be another variation of it, using it intermodally with movement. But what we did was we tapped into the visualization, into the guided visualization, and I asked you to imagine yourself like, a ballet dancer. And if I were to just, wrap it up by explaining how this really works, is that there have been a lot of studies neuroscientifically on how this happens because whenever we are in stress or wherever we are, we've had a long, tiring day, however, our bodies really, really sag down or they really, really, close up. and it leads to blocking of energy and emotions. And that the kind of hormones that are being released. So, with stress and all this blockaging, a lot of stress hormones, cortisol is being released
Right.
immensely in our body, and that is what just slows down and really, really holds us back. But the moment we allow ourselves to engage in any of the art forms and just expose ourselves to a relaxing, more calmer state, but this starts the
I
very
have lost
perceptual.
you. Your voice is breaking.
Can you
Your
hear me?
voice in your video is breaking a bit. Now I
Can
think
you
we're
hear
good.
me now?
We're good to go.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
now I can hear you.
at the very first perceptual level with arts, it just changes the way we start to feel. It already uplifts, our mood and our energy. And then once we do that in the process, rather than being really, really stimulated in the flight and fight response of stress, we end up
Right.
becoming more calmer in our body rather than the stress hormone, the rewarding hormone, or the rewarding limbic system of our body or our brain being stimulated, which releases happy, calming hormones. So rather than the other one, our biochemistry starts changing, and then lots of happy hormones, endorphins are being released, and so any blocked energy then starts opening up, and it also changes the blood flow into our bodies. So with any form of arts, whenever you're doing, it just increases it by 10%. All parts, especially a dearth of it due to stress. Now it's refueled with it, and that's why so otherwise eating tend to sleep.
So I
So
think
that's
one
the
of the, I think two major key benefits that I can really extract from today's session that can be really brought forth via an expressive arts therapy session would be psychological well-being and mood elation. Is there anything else that you would really want to add on to that? Or these are the two really
so I think
broad
it works
benefits?
holistically. Yeah, it works holistically. It works physically, like we talked about. It is very beneficial for expanding our health benefits. It makes us calmer. There is stress reduction. And physiologically, we are calmer, logically, emotionally. Then also, I think overall, if you look at the larger realm of spiritually, it uplifts us when we talk about. So the energy release from being really, really dark and dull and to really close down and really low to just refinding that shifting and uprising the energy all around just changes the entire nectar of energy that we're infusing, and the kind of messages that we are sending across with our body language, facial expressions, with our words, and also of course, cognitively. It builds in the attention span, the memory span while we engage with that
Even
art
thinking,
activity.
thinking for that matter, because I could really find myself thinking about a lot of
Creative
things.
thinking,
Yes,
imagination.
creative thinking, true.
Yes. And
So
also,
I think,
finally, the very act of being able to delve into a possibility or being able to visualize yourself like a ballet dancer. So imagine how many doors. So sometimes uh, and very very important for problem solving skills with the time with children especially when we allow them to really work through different possibilities and combinations. Even as adults, we're so closed in with the way of life that we're used to. So it changes the way we start.
right. So I think we'll wrap up because we don't even have time. So I think any time the live session is going to be disconnected. So I just really wanted to quickly ask: is there any question that anybody has? So there are a lot
Yes,
of compliments
anybody?
to you.
I'm
People have been really complimenting that they've really enjoyed the session. So we're definitely going to have her on
glad.
board one more time because I genuinely really loved this session. And
Me too.
yeah, so So I think, yeah. So we
Any
have
questions anybody has?
yeah, they're mostly compliments, and they're mostly that they've enjoyed the